Good morning, dear learners. How are you? Are you ready? Let's begin our lesson. Today, we are going to talk about adverbs of frequency. Adverbs that change or qualify the meaning of a sentence by telling us how often or how frequently something happens are defined as adverbs of frequency. An adverb of frequency is exactly what it sounds like, an adverb of time. Adverbs of frequency always describe how often something occurs either in definite or indefinite terms. An adverb that describes definite frequency is one such as weekly, daily, or early. An adverb describing indefinite frequency doesn't specify an exact time frame. Examples are sometimes, often, and rarely. We use some adverbs to describe how frequently we do an activity. Adverbs of frequency answer the question how often or how frequently. They tell us how often somebody does something. There are four main adverbs of frequency. They are always, usually, sometimes, and never. These adverbs usually come before the main verb. For example, she never eats meat. She never eats meat. I sometimes play tennis on Saturdays. I sometimes play tennis on Saturdays. I don't often go swimming. I always have coffee for breakfast. I always have coffee for breakfast. I usually go to bed at about 11 o'clock. I usually go to bed at 11 o'clock. He hardly ever watches TV. He hardly ever watches TV. Sometimes and usually can also come at the beginning or the end of a sentence. For example, sometimes we play cards. Or we play cards sometimes. Usually, I walk to school. I walk to school usually. Never and always can come at the beginning or the end of a sentence. For example, I never go to the cinema. I always have coffee in the morning. I never go to the cinema. I always have coffee in the morning. Remember, adverbs of frequency go before all verbs. For example, do you usually go to work by bus? They are sometimes late. We use a positive verb with never and hardly ever. For example, he never smokes. Look at these examples. Please repeat after me. I always study after class. I usually walk to work. I often read in a bed at night. I sometimes sing in the shower. I hardly ever get angry. I always study after class. I usually walk to work. I often read in bed at night. I sometimes sing in the shower. I hardly ever get angry. Thank you for your attention. The lesson is over. Goodbye.